us kids on a boat. And
5 kids?
Yeah, 5 kids. And we went up the east coast of Australia.
Wow.
So
You know,
just 5 kids on a boat?
5 kids, yeah, 5
So
kids
where
on a
are
boat,
you
mum and
in
dad.
mix?
I'm in the middle. And I was working on the boat at the time, fishing and driving trawlers. So I had to leave. So I had to leave New Guinea, leave mum and dad up there, and came back to Australia at 16 with $100 in my pocket. Went, what happens now?
Let's move on.
Television. Then they offered me a job reading the news, and I thought, well, why not?
Rightio, welcome back. We've got our next Beers and Banter episode. A little bit early in the day, unfortunately, for the beers and/or bubbles and banter. Never. It is before midday, so we'll call it a coffee and banter this morning. We had Kev Anderson in town.
Hey, Luke.
Our
Hi,
local,
mate. Yeah, lovely to see you. Hey, Amber. How you going?
Kev, our local member for Tamworth, and he has a very interesting background which not a lot of people know about, and so we thought it'd be a really good opportunity to catch up with you while you're in town, mate. So thanks for coming along, and we'll fire straight into the questions because I know you're a busy man. And the first of those questions is a little bit about, tell us a bit about your upbringing, mate, and where you were born and how you were brought up.
Yeah, firstly born in Melbourne at a very young age. And then literally. I was born in Melbourne. My old man was a professional fisherman.
Okay.
So we grew up on fishing boats, basically. And it was very cold in Victoria. So mum had had enough of cold, dad had had enough of cold and said, let's go north. So they put the 5 of us kids on a boat. And
5 kids?
Yeah, 5 kids. And we went up the east coast of Australia.
Wow.
So just 5 kids on a boat?
5 kids, yeah, 5
So
kids on a
where
boat,
are
mum
you
and
in
dad.
mix?
I'm in the middle. So older brother, older sister, 2 younger brothers.
And you're a good swimmer from a young age, I assume.
Well, we could swim.
Yeah.
And mum kept saying, I just want to find the warmth. So dad kept heading north, kept Australia on the left.
Yep.
And we just kept going north all the way up the east coast of Australia, and we fished on the way. And
Okay.
Can I ask what a day looked like for you? Like a typical day?
Rough.
Choppy?
Yeah. So we sort of left Victoria and got to Brisbane, basically sailed past Sydney and all the way to Brisbane, and we stopped in Brisbane for a couple of years.
Yep.
Sort of regrouped and then kept going.
Okay.
So I did primary school, a couple of years primary school at Redcliffe in Brisbane, then got to Port Douglas, and we sort of kept going north. Mum kept saying, let's keep going north, and we just kept travelling, and if you keep going, following the map of Australia all the way up, it crosses at the top of Thursday Island with Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
So we hit Papua New Guinea and then turned right.
Okay.
Turned right, we didn't turn around, we turned right.
Yeah.
So we just kept fishing and kept going and kept moving. So I don't know whether they were running from the law, I don't know. But so we sort of grew up doing that, which is
very unique.
Very unique.
Very unique experience for you.
We got to Papua New Guinea, and I did all my high schooling, like from year 6 and 7, via correspondence.
Okay.
So we'd go to sea for a couple of weeks and come back, and I'd fill out these forms and then send them back to Brisbane, and they would then send them back to Papua New Guinea, and I'd get these, the exam papers back, results back, and I thought F stood for fantastic. I thought E stood for excellence, and I thought D was a distinction.
Yeah.
So I thought, I've got this covered. I'm out, I'm good. I don't need to do it anymore. So that was it. That was basically, that was...
So how would you rate your education level, I guess, compared to
Very poor, very poor. I'm still learning today,
If you had an ATAR, what do you think you would have cracked to 50 at least?
10.
No comment.
Yeah,
we don't need to bring up ATAR.
Yeah, but you're right. But so that's what I did, and basically, in those days, in Papua New Guinea, I got to 16.
Yeah.
So that was about 1980, 81.
Yeah.
And they were not issuing any more work permits for non-Indigenous people. So, and I was working on the boat at the time, fishing and driving trawlers. So I had to leave. So I had to leave New Guinea, leave mum and dad up there, and came back to Australia at 16 with $100 in my pocket. Went, what happens now?
What do you do?
What do I do now?
So,
no education.
How does it look coming from that point in your life to what most of us would remember you from, obviously, in your prime news days? So how did you get from there to that sort of role?
Yeah, so when I got back to Australia, I went, well, what do I do? Year 10, and I failed year 10. What happens now? All I know is boats, build boats, work on boats, fish.
Yep.
So I saw an ad in the paper in Townsville for the Air Force, Royal Australian Air Force, and I thought, if I do that, I can put myself through an education, through, in those days, night school. So I joined the Air Force for 6 years.
Wow.
And put myself through night school through those 6 years, and then at the end of that, which is 1986, I think, I sort of got enough, put myself through like a radio and television school in Melbourne,
Yep.
and then graduated from that, and then in 86 got out of the Air Force, 87 got out of the Air Force and got a job in radio in Mount Isa.
Okay.
So in those days it was phone boxes, so I used to ring all these radio stations or,
Yeah.
any chance of a job.
Yeah.
So that's how I got my media start.
Yeah.
Drove to Mount Isa from Melbourne,
Yep.
started at 4LM in Mount Isa, then went back to Melbourne, then up to Lismore and then Tamworth. So I just hopped along and
Yeah.
The
'cause I
next
just-
opportunity.
next opportunity,
Yeah.
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 So
But
and
you're quite driven, obviously, like night school, and that's obviously a fair bit of determination.
yeah, look, I don't know. Everyone does it, don't they?
Versions of.
But yeah. So that's, and then got to Tamworth and got a break in television. Then they offered me a job reading the news, and I thought, well, why not?
Yeah.
So that's
So you didn't start as the weather girl, like you literally.
no, started
straight
as sport guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, started at sports,
Worked your way through.
along with Kylie Gillies and
Yeah.
everyone else. So while Kylie Gillies was reading news, I was reading sport.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it's,
I remember
yeah.
Kylie being on the news.
That's right. She's in Tamworth too.
Yeah, so it's been
Do you
fun.
stay in touch with Kylie?
Yeah, I was talking via text these days, with
Yeah.
Kylie a couple of weeks ago. So
She's doing well?
she's going great, going great.
So obviously a bit of a complete change of angle again with your career, mate, heading into politics from your media experience. So was that something that was always on the radar, do you think, or it just sort of...
No, it was not. So I was doing media, radio, TV. Loved it. Running events. I love running events and organising, helping people, and basically trying to see what we could do to improve the lives of people around us. And I don't know where that came from, but that's what I like doing. Like during the drought, whichever drought that was, might have been the 07, 08 drought, I think it was. We ran a massive fundraising concert under the Salvation Army banner.
Yeah.
We raised 100k for drought-affected farmers and in our communities in Tamworth. So just helping people and saying, what can we do different? How do we, help those? And someone said, oh, you should run for politics. I went, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not a chance.
Yeah.
Anyway, opportunity came up. I thought, oh, well.
Yeah.
And I look at politics as an opportunity to help people and use
Yeah.
that for that reason
Yeah.
to improve the lives of people in our community. And if I can do that,
Wasn't
someone
really
said,
a
yeah,
career
exactly.
decision, it was... Yeah.
No, it wasn't
Yeah.
a career decision.
Yeah.
They said, well, if someone wants something, they would come to me and ask. And I'd say, well, look, I'll put you in touch with Luke or I'll put you in touch with Amber. They can help you. And then someone said one day, you should stop being the middleman. You should be that guy.
That question, that's
Oh, I
what
like
yours.
this one. What would you tell, or what advice would you give to a 20-year-old Kev?
Work hard. Work
I
hard.
think you sort of do that.
But you just
Work
gotta
harder?
work hard. Well, I don't know. A 20-year-old. Well, it depends what that 20-year-old wants to do.
Yeah.
And the direction that person wants to take. Everyone is different. Everyone has their own unique DNA. For mine, it's have a crack. Don't be afraid to do whatever you want to do, and I think that comes from where I come from.
Yeah.
And I tell my kids the same.
I was going to say, is that a message for you,
Yeah,
your kids?
yeah. Do whatever you want to do. If you want to be an astronaut, have a crack. If you
Because it gets away too, that's the other thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm nudging, getting close to 40 and it only feels like yesterday.
Yeah, 100%.
I still feel
It's
like I'm
crazy.
20.
Yeah.
you look 20, yeah.
No, I don't.
I noticed you didn't mention that when I said it.
No. I would have thought much closer
That's
to
all right.
45.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
okay.
No, that's it. I'm doing all my
I
aging
think you're
early.
holding it well.
Let's move on. So we did have a question around your downtime, which we think is probably an irrelevant question
No,
for you.
when you
but
sleep, maybe.
we
music.
we made, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
yeah, because we're talking about podcasts, different things you might be, but music, obviously that's a passion of yours. You're still playing?
Yeah, when I can.
Yep.
It's like in the band that I'm in, it's a fantastic band. I've always played music, but I'm the handbrake because of time. But
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's something that, I can do on my own. I can play my guitar wherever I go. I can take it with me and I can
Yeah.
just sit for half an hour and just zone out.
Yeah.
And I love playing, I love creating, and music is an excellent way to do
Have
that.
you got a recent album or an artist you've been listening to lately?
No, I haven't got an album. I don't write music.
Yeah.
I did when I was little and,
Yeah.
not little, but, in
Yeah.
younger
Had
days.
some spare time on
Had
the
spare
fishing
time.
trip.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
sort of think you can have a crack, but
Yeah.
no, my songs were never any good.
Yeah.
I like listening to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
A lot of different people. I don't have a particular. I love Midnight Oil. I love Australian.
Yeah.
If you have to categorise,
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd say Australian rock,
You
like
go,
Australian music, Mondo Rock, Midnight Oil, Dragon,
All that
all that sort of stuff.
Have you played with any of them?
Only with NXS.
Oh,
So, yeah, only with the boys from NXS. It's just been the Farris boys, Andrew Farris,
yeah.
because he lives at Barraba, as you
Yeah,
know.
they've got a,
Yeah, so I've
fantastic.
just it's been an incredible experience to be able to just sit and have a chat with Andrew Farris, you
Yeah.
know.
The stories. I
Yeah,
can
and I've
imagine.
played his songs and sung their songs and songs that he has written.
Yeah.
And I just go, oh my God, you know,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's Andrew Farris. And I still pinch myself, and you try not to, you know,
Lose
there you go,
the-
mate. Yeah, what's happening, mate? Yeah, how's that new album going, son? Me and my, you know.
Man crush.
Yeah, that's right. So it's pretty special, very
Yeah.
special. Oh, and Jim Magini from Midnight Oil.
Yeah.
I was at an event the other week, very flash event through politics,
Yeah.
and he was there. It was an arts event, and he was there, and I went, "That's Midnight Oil's lead guitarist," because I've watched, listened, played,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. And I
Yeah.
sort of forgot everyone else, the Prime Minister and the Premier, and I'm going, "Oh, Jim, how are you, Kevin Anderson?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm a big fan." He goes, "Oh, how you going, mate?" You know, so they're like, "Kevin, you need to come over here." No, I'm over here, mate.
Yeah, this is more important to me.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I've been waiting to ask someone this,
Uh-oh.
and
We'll see you later.
No, and I'm really pleased to hear you're a Seinfeld fan. So I've once heard that the characters are all very strategically sort of divided
Designed,
into
yeah,
personality
okay.
types. So my question is, which Seinfeld character are you?
I don't know. I don't know. Some would say Elaine. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh no.
What do you reckon? I'll put it back on
I've
you
got a
guys.
little,
We've
like
known each other for a while.
Little
Oh,
Jerry?
little Jerry, little Kramer.
Kramer,
Oh,
yes.
okay,
Little
okay,
Kramer.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Can you
as
walk
long-
through that door?
And do that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Who are you? Do you reckon?
I'm a bit George.
George.
Oh,
A
that's
little
a
bit
bad one.
George.
Yeah, you
and-
don't
no,
want
I am.
George.
I know. He's got, like just some of the traits, and then I think I'm a bit Elaine.
Okay, right.
Luke?
On the dance floor.
On the dance, you're definitely Elaine on the dance floor. My goodness.
I'm hoping I'm not George because like I always like to shout. I hate not
Oh
being
no,
that
I'm not
person.
tight.
So he's very
I'm not
tight. So
Yeah, no, I'm not tight.
yeah, I know.
just-
Probably a bit of Jerry Kramer too, maybe. Lastly, mate, we always just ask people if they have a question for us to finish off. So
Look, I think what drives you guys, like here we are in Gunnedah, and I am always in great admiration for local people who put their hand in their pocket, their hard-earned on the table and make it work. Because that's what makes town so good. And I'm not just saying that, that's what drives regional economies, local economies. It's because you have a crack.
there's a lot of people in our town that I don't know. I
So
can't
what drives
answer
you to do that?
I mean, it's just something it's just like you just want to do it.
Yeah,
You've got to want to do
yeah.
it because it's not easy, is it? You know, small business, and there's so many in town that are doing well. So.
I feel like it's sort of a sense of purpose. I know that sounds very deep, but I'm actually
Yeah.
really, quite motivated to get out of bed every morning and achieve something that helps people. I know that's sort of.
But that's
harking back
exactly
to-
what when
Yeah.
I say improve the lives of people in our communities, that's exactly the reason
Yeah.
why you get out of
Yeah,
bed. You want to
totally.
do that. You've got to, yeah.
I've sort of, it's obviously early days, we're only a couple of years into the business. Emma and Tom obviously have had their valve firm for a while, but you know, we've got 8 people now essentially on the books, and that's
Yeah.
something I'm really taking a lot of pride in. You know, we've got a great team, but creating something that, you know, generates,
proud of,
yeah,
too.
and,
Yeah.
and generates employment. That's
Yeah.
something that's new to me, and I'm enjoying that.
Yeah.
Well, then that also comes with a sense of responsibility.
Mm.
You know, you've got 8 people on the books. That's fantastic. That's 8 families, you've got to
absolutely.
look after now.
You take that very
Yeah,
seriously.
as part of driving your business, you know, you've then got that responsibility of bringing them with you. You know, and that's a challenge.
Yeah, and it's also fun though. I love having a team as part
Yeah.
of the journey. Yeah, which is been really rewarding.
Rightio, we might wrap it up. Thanks again, mate. We
It's a
appreciate
pleasure,
you coming
mate.
in.
Thanks,
Next
Luke.
time,
Yeah,
let's
good on
make
you.
sure it's after 12 so we can make it beers and banners.
No, look
But,
over
you know,
here. He's
yeah,
where we
right
need
to
be.
go.
Right
Right to go.
here. Right here.
Done.
Thanks, Kev.
Too easy.
Thanks, Sam.
again,
Lovely
mate.
to see you. Thanks,
Cheers.
Luke. Cheers,
Good on
mate. Righto.